I can try and remove these now. So Mr. Tom Ruth, President and CEO of Edmonton International Airport, thank you so much. We've been working for a while to get you to come in and have a chat with us. So super grateful that you were able to make this happen.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Betcha. So I mean, the airport, you guys have been doing, I know the pandemic's been tough. It's been tough on everybody. You've mentioned before in some of your other speeches, just the financials and whatnot. But on the flip side, I want to really focus on some of the awesome and unique, cool things that you're doing. In some cases, first in the world. And in a lot of cases, things that people don't think about when they think of an airport. So first off, how has things been from the transitioning that you guys have been doing to forward thinking? How's that been for you guys?
Well, maybe to just roll back to when the pandemic started in March, I should tell you in March of 2020, we were actually ahead of budget. So you think about that and then all of our worlds were really knocked upside down. Mm-hmm. And so for airlines and airports and everybody in aviation, quite devastating. For us, 90% of our revenues come from passenger traffic, so even though we have a lot of diversification. So it was quite difficult. And of course, nobody knew how long this was going to be or when it's going to end. Now we can kind of see the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel where it looks like it's going to end. But what I've been really proud of is, if I take us back to that stage, is how quickly we were able to get about 2/3 of our workforce to work remotely and to be effective. How quickly the remaining 1/3 of the workforce just got right into the rhythm of keeping things going. In many ways, running an airport is like running a small city. With a relatively small number of people, you're running a giant 77-acre development with tens of thousands of people that are coming in and out every day. So it was a big adjustment from back then. But what I was really proud of, as I look back, it's been 14 months now, is all the things that we can control and influence. Mm. We have been, I think, knocking it out of the park. We have not just sat back and let these events overtake us. We've moved forward in many ways to set a new course for the future. And some of the things that have been true successes for us, one is our emphasis on international cargo. We set a record through the year. At the end of the year, we had more cargo than we've ever had annually. We had 7.5% increase in cargo. We had 200% increase in our freighter traffic. And initially, it was bringing PPE equipment and other medical supplies, frankly, from all over the world, coming into Edmonton and then distributed throughout Canada. But then it quickly shifted to e-commerce. And that e-commerce, which was already starting, just accelerated. And for those that may not know, Edmonton is huge for e-commerce. And one of the ways it is and why it affects the airport in such a positive way is we are the closest major city to Prince Rupert and you say, well, Prince Rupert, that's so far away. Why do you care about that? Well, what happens in the e-commerce world now is a lot of the SKUs come in by air, but some of the more frequent SKUs are coming in by ocean because they know that you and I are going to buy those SKUs, and they can save money by bringing those in by ocean. So picture some products being developed in Asia and then coming on an ocean ship to Prince Rupert, which is a day and a half closer than any other port in North America, mm-hmm. getting quickly on the rail lines, coming into the first major city in North America, Edmonton. And now you begin to understand why all these warehouses, Amazons and others, are sprouting up all over Edmonton, because they're putting those frequent SKUs in those warehouses. And then when somebody in Ottawa or in the States or somewhere else orders something, they can pull them right out of the warehouse, they can get them to the airport, and they can quickly get those products into the cities they need to go to, whether it's by air or by truck. Mm-hmm. And then you supplement that with the things that have to come by air. And then you combine that with the fact that we have the rail lines close to the airport. We have the Canamex Highway that is right at the airport and goes through the U.S. into Mexico. Yeah. We have a foreign trade zone. We have the 2 million-liter fuel tanks that Shell Aviation put up a couple years ago. And you start to see all that combined with our 2 long runways, that we are going to knock it out of the park at
Beautifully
EIA.
situated.
Absolutely.
Beautifully situated from a a geographical standpoint for Alberta and even Canada as a country as well. I think people underestimate how much of a major artery an airport is to an economy of a city, of a province, and then into the country, right? And so you guys have really been pushing yourselves in that direction. You brought up the Amazon with the cargo and whatnot, and that brings me to my next cool thing that I think you guys are really doing, which was with the Amazon climate initiatives. Can you tell us a little bit how that came about?
Sure.
I mean, that's a world affecting piece. How did that come about?
Well, it actually came about as something we've been concentrating on recent years, in addition to the cargo development, has been our thirst for sustainable initiatives. Mm-hmm. It's the right thing to do for future generations, and all of that is starting to coalesce together with some really cool developments. So one of the developments that we've had is our cogen facility, which will make our airport footprint 20% less carbon dependent, mm-hmm. which is fabulous. And another is, which you alluded to, is we have now signed the Amazon Climate Pledge. It's a climate pledge that's been signed by around 100 major corporations around the world, big companies like Microsoft and Unilever and Best Buy and others. And we're the only airport in the world that signed this climate pledge to be carbon neutral by 2040. We're one of 3 Canadian companies to have signed on to this, and it should be something that we'll be able to easily do. I mentioned the cogen facility. Mm-hmm. We're already doing a lot with LED lighting and other things, and we announced several months ago that we're going to have the world's largest solar farm on any airport. So that's going to be 340,000 solar panels. It's going to be 640 acres of solar farm, enough to power over 27,000 homes. Yeah. And you combined all those initiatives, plus that we have a couple buildings that are already LEED Gold certified. We will be able to. We've been doing this for years, but now it's starting to all come together and coalesce. So that'll be a really good thing for our region and for our airport, and really, when you think about it, for aviation, a cool initiative.
Well, when you look at the reading I've done of Edmonton's airport over the years, you've always been a forward-thinking culture. You're always looking at what's the next best thing. And any good company, any good organization, you're going to die if you're not that. And you guys have really been doing that, especially when it comes to the climate stuff with this Amazon thing, but now your solar farms. You guys are looking at this, the bee, you're going to have to correct me on this one.
We're actually going to be putting with the solar farm. We're going to be working on putting an apiary underneath the solar farm, and that will be great because we already have an apiary at the airport, but it's small. Yeah. Now we're going to be able to do that. When you think about it, the solar having this solar production and the honey production all in the same area, and then being able to export the honey is going to be a fabulous addition. Another technology initiative, just you maybe think about it, is we're doing a lot with drones as well. Mm-hmm. And drones are going to be a future. I can see down the road where in e-commerce you're going to find drones that are delivering products. So we're working a lot. We're working with Drone Delivery Canada and other drone companies. We actually have a drone that we call RoboBird on the airport that is literally a robotic drone falcon that keeps the wild birds away from the planes, and it also does some really cool work around the runway to make sure that all the surfaces are in good shape. It's got very sophisticated cameras. So
and it looks cool.
And
it's
it
neat.
Looks, if you've seen it fly, it looks like a real falcon.
Yes, so. It's completely amazing. I saw the video on it not long. I was like, is that thing real? And it's like, yeah, it is. This is super neat. So all those initiatives that you guys have been working on, they're conversations that were started 10 years ago when we started talking about climate accords around the world. You guys took the initiative to be like, well, let's be ahead of the game. Let's get to it now. The world's got goals that they want to hit in 10, 20, 15, 10, 15, 20 years. You guys are well ahead of the curve on that. taking us back to the pandemic, another thing that you guys were really into was the pharma licensing.
Yes.
And you guys are one of the top ones that are doing that as well across the country. Can you tell us a little bit about more what that pharma licensing means, is, and what that kind of impact has had on you guys as well?
For sure. The first of all, agriculture and agri-tech are huge for our province. And just as excited as we are about all the e-commerce imports that are coming in and all the extra flights, a major byproduct of that, which is huge, is that will improve our exports to Asia. And one of the biggest exports advantages that we have, besides pharma, which I'm going to talk about, is literally our agriculture. So now we can move protein over to Asia, value-added protein, whether it's beef or pork or any other number of products we can move over to Asia and get more money for those products because those flights will be here, and they'll go back to Asia with product on them. And the same with the pharmaceuticals. We have this new certification called CEIV Pharma, and it is a global certification. There's only 6 airports in all of North America that have it, but it certifies us that we can move temperature sensitive or any other specific requirement around pharmaceuticals anywhere in the world, that we have the supply chain linkages through many suppliers and the airport to be able to do that, which will give us a big advantage for exports going forward.
That's super wild. And again, an amazing feat, a big feather in your guys' cap to be able to have done all of that and be progressive throughout this time of, a real difficult era to be progressive in. And I know everybody probably asks, like, when do you think things are going to be back? I mean, you're not the government. You don't know how this thing's going to work, so it's tough for you to answer that. So I'm sure you get the questions lots. How about some of the other partnerships? You work really tightly. Like, how's the relationship with Calgary and Edmonton, and how you guys have kind of been? I know you guys are separate entities, but how are those relationships and working together as a province? How does that come together?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I should say I would say the airport industry has never been closer, and aviation and in general and has never been closer. We're all in this together. We're all trying to learn from each other in terms of what's going on. One of the good signs that we see in the pandemic is in the United States now traffic is really bouncing back. And of course, as we get more vaccines that start outracing the variants, our traffic is going to rebound. And I actually think our traffic will rebound quicker than some other airports because we have a lot of origin and destination traffic, so a lot of people that are specifically coming and going to Edmonton in addition to the transfer traffic. So that will improve as we go forward.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, as the variant as the vaccines roll out, the thirst is there. I mean, you talk to any of your friends, I'm sure they're just like, man, like, when can we get going again, right? So outside of all those other things like cargo and the other really cool things that you guys are doing, now we can look hopefully in the near future to getting people moving again, which obviously ignites business again. And so that must be really exciting for you. I know it must be tough to just see an airport so quiet and empty, but once this kicks back in, it'll be super great. And you guys again have been proactive in being ready for it. So
yeah, thanks. So maybe just talk about that for a minute. I think one of the reasons we've been proactive is about 2 years ago, right before COVID, we switched our strategy to be, a lot of people have an expansion strategy. We switched to be innovation expansion. So a lot on the digital. You're going to see more and more in the future. A lot in the digital space. What are we doing to make life easier for our passengers? What are we doing to create the analytics that we need to make things flow better? And that actually helped us through COVID. Having those processes already started, right? Efficiencies helped us quite a bit. And as we go forward, again, I'm very confident that this will come back. A lot of we talk about travel. I almost call it revenge travel. People they're waiting to travel and visiting friends and family. That'll probably be first in terms of, I know I want to visit my parents. I want to visit my grandkids and my daughter, and everybody wants to visit somebody and have friends coming back and forth. So definitely, from what we've seen in other places that already are, where travel's already starting to recover, that's what's happening. And then business travel, oh my gosh, people are going to want to visit their customers, and so it's just around the corner. I truly believe we're getting very close to that, and really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Tom, thank you so much for coming and talking to us today. Thank you for everything that you guys are doing over there at the airport, keeping us connected to the world and, connecting Alberta to the world and the world to Alberta at the same time, whether it's with products or people. So you guys are doing a great job. And, like you said, we're in this together, and I'm sure we'll come out of this together all tip-top in shape.
Absolutely. We just need to stay strong and stay safe.
You got her. Absolutely. Thank you again so much.
Appreciate it.
You bet.